This is a 5 on your side local news update.
2:23 Weather First meteorologist Gary Frank this afternoon, as it does not feel like the middle of April, as once again we are very close to record highs. Not quite there today, just like we weren't yesterday, but still, it doesn't feel like the middle of April. You go outside and it's kind of hazy even. So heat, humidity kind of settling in. If you look at the Metro East in a different view downtown, the wind is much calmer as we see this front that's settled in. We now have an east breeze at 7 miles an hour with 84 degrees here at this hour as we continue to probably add another 3 degrees or so before things are all said and done. Not as humid on this side of the front. Our dew point's in the 50s. That will be a point of contention over the next 36 hours or so as we really watch where that line of humidity is settling in. And the big story for us this afternoon is a pretty wide area of severe weather threat that goes all the way from South Dakota, central Nebraska, and in central Kansas as well. And the third category 3 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center, that's where the main area of severe weather is going to set up today. You'll notice that we're also settling into the marginal risk for severe weather, 1 of 5. We don't mention it a ton, but it does stretch all the way into Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the coast. But really, one of the reasons I mention that is because there's kind of a stationary boundary that's set up all the way through there. And what that's going to do is provide maybe enough of a brief storm this afternoon and evening, primarily around sunset. But overall, it's quiet there for now. And we're going to watch storms that really start to develop as this system is starting to work its way in. But for now, temperatures sitting at 81 degrees on the other side of the state. It's 84 here. We're very warm. Watch where it is in central Kansas. This humid air is feeding right into this system along the edge of this warm front, which, as we look at our surface map plus humidity, this is what's going to be responsible. Mainly this warm front, they're going to see some pretty good storms that develop along this, ahead of this low, where we have a lot of wind, not only at the surface, but above the surface as well. We also have this Gulf moisture that's feeding in, and we're still sitting kind of on the edge of that. As I mentioned, the stationary boundary essentially goes all the way over there, but that's going to be responsible for maybe our isolated storms today. The main system tomorrow lies with this whole system gradually working its way here along this front. And I think we'll see 2 rounds of storms with the main system along this dry edge of air. That will be kind of the initiator for some of those pretty good storms that develop. Through to the rest of the evening, though, clouds are only going to increase. They're starting to do so right now. You'll see this over the next several hours. And notice how this picks up on a couple of storms right along that front, as I mentioned. I don't think this is a huge issue into this evening, but any storm that develops has the potential to grow pretty quickly and maybe put down some larger hail. So it's something to keep in mind in case all of a sudden we start talking about, hey, there's a severe thunderstorm warning. Where did this come from? That's why I want to mention it, just because we have all this heat and humidity, at least along this right now. But I think, like I mentioned, the main storm system is tomorrow. That's our next weather alert day. As we continue to keep you posted about that, our severe weather outlook for tomorrow continues to put all of us into slight risk for severe weather. That's category 2 of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center. And the other one, in enhanced risk. That has kind of drugged Pike County into it on the Missouri side. That was not there yesterday. That's where the primary risk for tornadoes, very large hail, seems to remain. That doesn't mean it can't happen to the south. I still think it will happen to some degree. That's just where the bullseye is. You can see where these storms are starting to develop on the leading edge of this entire spin, and we're feeding that moisture in, and we're kind of getting some of that. That's where our clouds are coming from right now, and probably tomorrow morning as well. But what we'll notice over the next 24 hours is watch along that line there that I mentioned. Storms are developing, but we also have clouds on the front edge of that. So by midday, how much of these clouds are out of here by 11 or 12 o'clock? Do we have showers already? I think the more sunshine we get at that time, that could make that first round of storms a little bit stronger, that I think we'll start to see 2 or 3 o'clock. Notice these type of storms that are kind of developed by themselves. That's where I think the rotating storms, large hail, really could come into play for the afternoon tomorrow. So it is a weather alert day as we continue to look at severe weather potential, as still monitoring all types of severe weather. But like I mentioned, Tuesday still, it's how many clouds do we have by midday? Our timing between 2 and 10 with that brief tornado threat possible as well. As we continue to update you on that, it will be quieter the rest of the week.